Hello, Cecilia.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, great. You look great, and you joined in, and your voice is so clear. Perfect. Would you
Perfect.
like to try as a co-host and share your slides if everything is okay?
Yep, let's do that. What I need to do is, you see now screen.
No, if you share, we will see your screen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. It's coming on. Perfect.
I'm
Everything
going
seems
to try,
good.
I'm just going to try one with video.
Okay.
Can hear, right?
No, I haven't heard anything so far.
I'll just see if I can make it a bit louder.
Not enough.
Not enough.
No. Is that a robot by your side?
Is it what? I can try again.
Yeah,
A bit.
please do and make it louder.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try. The best thing is out of the process.
Not enough, Cecilia?
Now,
No.
still not enough. Let me just try a different one because that one doesn't require that much sound anyway.
Okay. Perhaps you could talk to the video as it moves.
Yeah.
Spending too much time on paperwork and lesson planning?
Can you hear that? Or is that
Yeah,
too loud?
that was loud and clear. Thank you.
Papers and evaluation.
Okay, right. I think the other one is not as important in terms of the sound anyway, so maybe
Okay.
it's okay. Yeah.
Yes. I think it's good if you just want to show the video and you can give the context at the background. If you talk to it, that should be good.
Okay, I need to do one more thing because I'm going to be changing the screen a little bit around.
Okay.
So one more time. Because I'm trying to be a little bit more interactive. So people are not just listening to me, but actually working with me a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can see the balance acts of AI, right? Now,
No.
Can you see that? No?
I just see you and the background so far, nothing else.
Nothing else, even though I am sharing. Okay. Let's see.
We have enough time, so take it easy.
Now?
Yeah.
Oh, good. You can see it, right?
Yeah. Balancing act of AI in assessment. Perfect. We got it.
Okay. And then let me see if you can see. Can you see Zoom? Can you see this?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. That's what I will do. Good. So then I have that all good, all brilliant. No problem then.
Yeah. I know, you have them open on your computer, and then when you go into Zoom, they disappear from sight. So you have to start them again, once you have joined Zoom, I've noticed you start again, everything, and then they show
Yeah.
the headers. So we are very happy to have you. So we will go off on video a short while. We will have a couple of information about CLT, what we are doing, the research course, a video, and so on, and the netiquettes. And just to let you know, we will start exactly at 1, as is your time. We unmute everybody because in the chat there are too many logistical questions. We usually run over 1,000 participants. and the information keeps coming at a very fast pace. So we keep them muted at least for the first half an hour to 40 minutes. And then we ask them to start giving their comments. And that is when the questions will start. So after your roughly 35 to 40 minutes of talk, we will pause for questions. And that's the only time we allow people to sort of write in their questions. So is there any other thing that you'd like to know?
No, I think all is good. I might run a little bit further, but because I'm trying to be a little bit interactive, so they're not just listening. So bear with me. I will look at the time to ensure that at least there'll be 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A.
Yes, I think if we keep 10 to 15 minutes, you can, if the questions are many, we can always send you the questions afterwards, and you could sort of send in materials to respond to that, and we could send it with the information with materials, right?
Yeah.
Because they'll be, typical questions. Most of them will be repetitive and same.
Yeah.
So
Well, Sana, where are you at the moment? You're in Philippines, is it?
No. I am in Pakistan.
Ah, you're in Pakistan. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we caught you through Philippines.
So what time are you now? Are you same time zone?
No, you are, I think, 2 hours ahead of us. We are here coming on to 1 p.m. You'll be coming on to 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. Is that so? 4 p.m. So there's a 3-hour difference. So it's a good time for you, and it's a very good time. It's a lunch time for us, 1 to 2 p.m. So we're in good shape. And we hope to have many, we move on to live stream after 1,000 Zoom. And so it has been crazy manning the chat and live stream and Zoom. So we are not been able to answer all questions, but we try to catch the important ones.
Explain to me about this platform you are doing. So you are in university, right? And then, but you are also hosting this through the
series. No, what happened is that we have been doing the research course for our own faculty every summer. And it has grown and grown. And with COVID, we moved online. When we moved online, we realized that we could offer it to lots of our partners in Pakistan, universities. And the demand was immense. There was a lot of demand. So what we did recently is that we collaborated with our Higher Education Commission, which has a unit of national development of higher education professionals. So that unit has sort of latched on to coordinate with us to send it to all 300 campuses of Pakistan. Wow. And what that did was that, we have campuses all over Pakistan and from remote areas joining. And for them, this is a rarity to see international experts or top class experts talk about key themes. And we thought it would be very selfish if we kept you to ourselves. So for the past 4 years now, and many international partners, we are a part of GLCA, we are a part of, there's a young child waving out.
I have fans from young fans already.
Yeah. And they'll be the ones who will understand AI better than us, hopefully. So, there are lots of international partners that we share the program with. So there are some, actually 100 countries or more have, from 100 countries, the participants have registered. So it's grown into a massive sort of a project for us. And our logistics have gone haywire.
Yeah, and Wasana, so you are doing this series, is it on behalf of your university or behalf of Higher Education Commission? Which one?
No, we are doing it primarily for our people, faculty. That is 300 faculty. But since we have such a powerful gallery of experts like you, I think it would be unfair not to share it with everybody who wants to be a part of it. That's the easy part of being online. But there are lots of logistics, and we don't have the manpower for those logistics. We are not an online campus. We are an in-person campus. So we are dealing with multiple strains of pressure over here. trying to work it out. But I'm very thankful you could come. It took the United Board to coerce you into it.
No, it's just that I understand. Yeah, I understand all that, and obviously you have done a lot of big work, like, so many people turning up and stuff. And I'd be love to help in the future. I know that United Board is very nice to actually pay, because we have this thing in the University of Hong Kong, because we don't do it for other people. So, so it's honorarium. But I'm happy to help in the future. We can, come to some kind of collaboration.
No, I would love to have experts like you, because they add to the knowledge base of people who join. And you are always at the cutting edge of, I think you will remain, of AI. And this is such a key topic. For AI and research, actually, we have David Santandrew, who is really brilliant in AI applications from the Sheikh Zayed, I think, University of Artificial Intelligence. And they are at the center of cutting edge, whatever happening in AI. And he just reached out to us over LinkedIn. You are doing something superb. Can I join in? And he just offered. Otherwise, he's a very expensive consultant.
Oh, very good.
We couldn't have afforded him, yeah. So over to our CLT, a bit of a brief about us.
Yeah, let me just turn off my air console myself.
Okay.
Introducing Research Methodology 2025, your ticket to mastering research, brought to you by the Center for Learning and Teaching at Foreman Christian College University in collaboration with National Academy of Higher Education at the Higher Education Commission and the United Board. This isn't just another course. It's built around the renowned Vitae Researcher Development Framework, covering everything from deep subject knowledge to personal effectiveness, professional standards, and real-world impact. We are immensely grateful to our experts who have graciously offered their time and expertise in the spirit of knowledge equity. These experts are among the leading voices in their respective fields. And yes, it's 100% online and totally free. Wherever you are in the world, whether you're a postgraduate, early career researcher, or simply passionate about better research, this course is for you. Join us and be part of a movement for knowledge equity. Sign up now and unlock your research potential.
We're closer to the time, and so we'll start dot on time. We have some 500 plus participants already. Also, beta certificate form form for certificate. I'm not reading.
Hello everyone, I welcome you all to the sixth webinar of our research methodology course. The webinar name is Research Ethics in the Digital Age, AI Age, and What is Plagiarism. The module is basically about literature review and research ethics. I quickly go over the netiquette for the session. You are all familiar with them. You're all requested to please rename your Zoom accounts to the name of your university first and then your name afterwards. Please note that we disable the Zoom chat for the first 30 minutes, and once we enable it at 1:30 Pakistan time, please make sure that you are sensitive and mindful while using the chat, because we receive a lot of messages and unwanted messages because stating their name and they're asking about certifications. So please avoid that, because we are clearly sharing this information with you that all these certificates will be shared within 8 to 12 working days. For certification, you're requested to please fill out your complete name, the name of your university or institution, because we have a lot of students with us as well, and the email address, and the certificates will be awarded. Please note that all these sessions will be recorded and these recordings will be added to the CLT YouTube channel. A lot of you have already subscribed to that. For those who have not yet subscribed, you're requested to please subscribe. Over to you, Dr. Ruxana. That's it from my side. Dr. Ruxana, you are muted.
Thank you, Gohar, for alerting me. Welcome to all our participants, and also Cecilia, who I'll come to you a bit later to sort of introduce. Our session today is in our third module. We have already done the brief introduction about theories, research and AI, library search, and now we just finished a session on literature review. And one of the most important sessions in this series is research ethics, which has been thrown into doldrums because of AI. And that is what Cecilia is an expert at. So we are very, so many of you have rightfully, or nearly 15,000 have registered from 122 countries of the world and all regions from sort of South America to Australia. all the regions have been covered. We are very, very honored with this confidence in this course. There are 12,000 plus national and 2,000 plus international participants. Thank you. The agenda, as you will see, is integration of AI in academic research and how issues and challenges of ethics have sort of grown monumental in this age. Plagiarism, most call it now post-plagiarism age. So it is a post-plagiarism age because where do you draw a line? So emerging challenges and solutions, and the buzzword is responsible AI integration. I have even noticed many in Europe, a group that we are working with, who do not like the term of AI integration, and they're still wary of taking it that far. So we are not going to get into debates about the nuances of AI use and philosophy behind it, but it's about if you're using it, how do you use it responsibly, ethically, and wisely? Now, who is the expert? For us, it was a rare find. Cecilia Chan from the University of Hong Kong, who is a professor of faculty in education and also the Teaching and Learning Innovation Center at the university, was located for us by the United Board, and we are very thankful to them for stepping up. Cecilia there couldn't be a better expert because she has worked with UNESCO on the AI literacy skill document that is very, very well known for what it offers. She comes with multiple degrees at the intersection of engineering that places her right there for AI in terms of technology, and education and innovation. And that's a killer mix, Cecilia, if I may say so. So, sort of to speak, you were born in Hong Kong, but raised in Ireland. And so a lot of your education happened over there. That's exciting to know. You have written a lot. You are sort of the speaker. You are also a principal fellow at the Higher Education Academy and hold a fellowship at the King's College, London. You have led 40 research projects, internationally honored, and you serve as the chair of engineering education community in Hong Kong. Amazing. And so we drag you over for AI and especially how to use AI ethically. So over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me. And thank you for the introduction. You knew probably a lot more about me than I think, right? And of course, thank you for Higher Education Commission, former Christian College, and United Board for inviting me. And welcome, everyone. I'm delighted to be here. Let me first of all share my PowerPoint, if you allow me. And everybody can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. So we're going to talk a bit about research ethics, especially in this AI age, right? And obviously, we're very worried about assessment. So, and of course, plagiarism. What does that mean in the future? Now, MC already actually introduced me, right? So this is me, right? And that's my university in the background here. I have a very weird, in a way, right, discipline, engineering and education. My PhD, my bachelor degree was actually mechanical engineering, and my PhD is machine vision and DSP, for those of you who are in engineering. But in the past 18 years, I'm much older than you think, right? So my past 18 years, I've been in education, researching on assessment, experiential learning, especially on 21st century skills like future readiness, holistic competence. And in the last few years, I have been kind of delving into AI in education. Now, that is probably because of my role. So my role is actually to do with teaching and learning. Okay, so like your center here, CLT, right? Teaching and learning in the university. And I help with supporting faculty, all faculty, because we are a comprehensive university. We have engineering to medicine, to arts, humanity, and how to teach, how to learn. And on top of that, I'm looking after a lot of the policy as well. With AI suddenly happening, we have to put some guideline in place and policy and assessment as well. And of course, I work closely with many other universities around the world. Now, there are two books that I would like to mention about, right? Because they're both actually really near for what we are going to be talking about. The first one is obviously GenAI in higher education. That was published last year, early last year, March last year. I believe at the time it was the first book being published on this particular topic in higher education, in education in general. And now you will see during my presentation, there's a lot of QR code like these ones, okay? So if you take a picture of that, it will go straight into the either the PowerPoint, either the web link or the journal article, right? And these two books are open access, so it doesn't cost any money. Of course, if you want to buy one, I'm more than happy to for you, right? And I'm happy to sign it as well if we ever meet. And the assessment for experiential learning is also extremely timely as well. And that was published 2 years, 2022. There's a lot of authentic assessment that would be useful at this particular time. Okay,
Yeah.
Now, so me, well, I am still a little bit of a nerd, right? So during my free time, which is like, 3 a.m. in the morning, this is what I do. I kind of build robots, right? And then what I've done is, right, I've actually connected to this robot to AI as well. Let me just fast forward a little bit. Now, you may not hear it that well, but so you can see it's moving, I'm typing, and it's connected to AI, right? It does kind of these things, and then it can do sit up and everything like that. Now, I'm going to the next one. And on top of that, you can see these sensors, right? And cameras. It's connected to all the different ways. So what I'm doing is, what I did then is I showed them this piece of paper. Okay, it's not very clear, but they say 4x plus 5x. And I'm sure all of you here would know how to calculate this because we all gone through secondary school. And Pakistan have very good mathematics. So we all know the solution is 9x. What I did was I showed this piece of paper to the dog, right? And asked it to actually answer it.
You do this? Add those up in 9x.
So you can hear it. Yeah. You can hear that is 9x. Now, I actually built this about a year ago now. You can see that AI is now able to do a lot of things for us. It incorporate into robot, it can actually answer question and so forth. Now, AI is everywhere, in every industry, right? Every day, almost every day, every week, there are new AI apps, right? New startup building new AI apps with different large language model. It is in all different areas, from education to agriculture to healthcare to data security, automotive, everything. Okay, everything is in there. Now, so what can we do? What can we use GenAI, generative AI, to do in education? Now, you know this. Obviously, language learning, feedback, automated marking, personal adaptive tutor, course content assessment designer, personal assistant, research assistant, and in some university and some country are using AI as a counselor or therapist. Now, there are so many things we can do, what are the benefits and what are the threats of us? Well, obviously, you've heard this before. AI would take about 20% of all jobs within 5 years. Now, you can see this was a January 23 year 2023 paper. That was only 2 months after OpenAI ChatGPT was publicly announced that everybody can use. Okay, now I think the 5 years is probably shortened to about 3 years. Okay, and then of course we have things like this. AI ChatGPT is helping CEOs to think, will it also take your job? So these are the things we are now thinking about. What are we going to do if that happens? What is going to happen to our students in the future? Maybe some of us as well. So we're worried. So the first thing we need to think about in this future-ready world, this is, a very dynamic world. Are our students future-ready? Are they ready for more unexpected events? Are they ready to be replaced? At the moment, robotic is slower than the software, okay? The hardware is slower than the software, but it will catch up, Okay, we may not have robots running around like this at the moment yet, right? But it would not be soon. It would be soon, sorry. Are they ready to accept new ideas in the new world? And then, as educators, what can we do to ensure our students are future ready? Now, these are something we really need to think about, okay? And I know some of you here, right? Let's bring it a bit more personal to ourselves. Many of you are parents, right? Many of you are parents. You're probably thinking, what courses, what career would my children have in the future? What do they really need to know if AI can do everything for them? Okay, so AI is not coming, it is already here. And this transformation comes with critical questions, okay? Now, again here in my book, right, and in one of the papers as well, it shows this kind of three category, witness and potential threat using GenAI. And we know they can do a lot of things, right? GenAI, there are a lot of benefits, okay? But what are the witness and potential threat? Well, in the student and teacher category, okay, we have over-reliance, accuracy concerns, because we're not really sure how accurate it is, right? And loss of personal touch, lack of judgment for our students, and neglect of essential skill. But this homogenization of thought are also a big thing that we need to be very worried about, because a lot of large language models are trained by data, maybe by internet data, right, that you can get from blogs, right? And certain group of people, right, are not using, or maybe they're not involved in this data generation. For example, elderly may not use internet to express themselves, right? And may not be involved in this kind of training that these big companies are catching the data from, okay? And of course, very, very young people also, maybe even, up to about 11 or 12, 13 years old. So we're missing these two big categories. And of course, we know that some country may not even be involved in it as well. So this homogenization of thought, if we are using AI to help us to generate data or generate text, generate ideas, we're going to lose out. There are a lot of problems in this world have not yet been solved. And if we only use AI to solve it, it's going to be a problem. Okay. Then we have things like academic misconduct, AI overload. Now, for the education institution category, resource intensive. Okay, I mean, this particular webinar is absolutely fantastic because allowing so many people to get involved, right? Allowing people to learn from. But at the same time, right, if each university or school is doing this, it's going to be a problem. Okay, it's going to be a problem because of the resources. And then, of course, there's the technical challenge, there's security risk, there's the reputation risk as well. Okay, if your university or your school are using so much AI, is that a good thing or bad thing? Let me tell you a little bit in a second. How do we adapt and the dependency of this connectivity? In a society, we're worried about bias, we're worried about data privacy, we're worried about economic implication. Okay, some country may not be using AI yet. What is the economic implication? And inequitable access, and of course, the over commercialization. Big company will rule the world. We are very worried about that. Okay, so now, we need to think about, there are questions we need to raise, right? Because these questions are in our students' mind. So can I use AI for my studies? So every teacher, every one of you here are probably thinking about this, okay? And so if I allow my students to use AI, can they use it? Should they use it, right? So the first two questions are very different. One is, can I use? The other one is, should I use? And how much AI is too much? They become over-reliance. If AI can do what I'm supposed to do, then what is my role as a learner? Now, today I am going to introduce three terminologies to you. The first one I'm going to introduce is called AI guilt, okay? So what is AI guilt? Well, to me, right, from my study, I think AI guilt is going to be a short-term challenge, okay? It is a form of moral discomfort arising from the use of AI tools in tasks, so tasks that we traditionally perform by human. okay? And the factors that made us have this AI guilt are these three factors. Number one, perceived laziness. We feel lazy, okay? And we feel like imposter, okay? We feel like there's imposter syndrome. And so that's number one. The second of all is fear of judgment. If I'm a student and I tell my friends, right, that I'm using AI to finish my work, we might be worried that, my colleagues will be judging me. Now, if you think of it as a teacher as well, if you tell your student or even your own colleague that I'm using AI to correct my students' work, I'm not quite sure will people actually raise their hand and say, yeah, I'm using AI. Okay, so that's the fear of judgment, both in terms of students and teacher. And then there's the identity crisis, the self-efficacy concern. We call it cognitive dissonance theory. Okay, but this is a short-term challenge because what happened is in the future, you may not feel that. It's like using a mobile phone. At the beginning, nobody used the mobile phone, for maybe using Google to search everything, but now everybody uses it. Now, I talk about reputation bias, okay? Last month, May 15, 2025, there's an American university, the Northeastern University. There was a student, she demanded her tuition back after catching her professor using OpenAI ChatGPT, okay? They didn't win, okay? The student didn't get the tuition back, but it is that kind of reputation, which is now on the newspaper, on news, okay? So we need to think about it, is that right or wrong? And of course, right, we are now thinking, hey, how do we ensure that our students don't cheat, okay? Don't use AI to cheat. So we have an American professor from the New York University, okay, on the right-hand side here. He decided to build these AI-proof assignments. And then students complained that the work was too hard and that he was interfering with their learning styles. Now, this is a problem when you teach your student too much terminology in education. And of course, somebody won an extension because ChatGPT was down that day. Okay, so these are the problems we are facing these days. Now, we talk about students' question in students' mind. Of course, as a teacher, you also have a lot of questions in your mind. So question like, if AI can generate answers for students, are they even learning? At what point should we restrict AI use, okay, for our students? Well, does AI change the meaning of academic misconduct? Okay, does it actually, stop meaning something else? Now, should we redefine plagiarism or introduce a new term that I'm using called AI-giarism? And could AI assistant, if you're a teacher, especially a young teacher, right, you might be worried, hey, if AI can do so much, what am I going to do? Could AI assistant replace me? I have a paper on that. I didn't put it in here, but I have a paper on this AI assistant, which I think I got about 300 or 400 students asking their opinion about AI. So it might be worth your while to look at it and see if we are going to be replaced or not. And what is the future role of educator in an AI-driven world? Now, I said there was another terminology that I'm going to introduce. So this one is AI-giarism, okay? Again, this QR code goes directly to my paper. So what is AI-giarism? Well, AI-giarism refers to the unethical practice of using AI to generate text, okay, especially from original human artwork. We know the newspaper have been saying that, and someone is generating Mona Lisa, right, from the original Mona Lisa picture, okay, and then they feel like, copyright is actually being violated, okay, but what if the author, right, what if the students actually acknowledge it? Does that mean plagiarism or not? Okay, now we know plagiarism is what we call zero tolerance. We use Turnitin. Most of us would use Turnitin to find out if our students are using actually copy or not, right? And we might go, if it's 30%, it's not good. If it's 10%, it's not good. Only 0.1%, then it's fine. So these are plagiarism rules. But if you actually look at the research, right, that people have done on plagiarism, it is still gray, okay? So let's have a look, right? Now we know this one, the first one, copying word for word from a source with the due acknowledgement of the source is wrong. We know that, okay? But what about, right? What about translating a source in one language into another language and using as long? Now, this is two different language now, okay? So do you acknowledge it? And especially this one is always a bit confusing. If you're paraphrasing somebody, right, and maybe you acknowledge them, is that wrong or right? If you paraphrase a lot, is that wrong or right? Okay, so there are still gray area, even in the plagiarism rule. But then, of course, in the AI era, it is totally different. Now, we need to think about the balancing act of AI in assessment. So what is wrong? What is right? What do we consider as academic misconduct in this AI era? Okay. Now, I've talked a lot, right? I want you to work with me, okay? Because it's not usual me, even on Zoom, even online, I just talk. This is not me. So I want you to take out your phone, okay, and work with me on this. I have just 3 questions. The first one is this, right? So if you can take a picture of this particular QR code, it will go to a Padlet. And I want you to tell me, right, about this scenario. If you're a student or any student, they use ChatGPT to write their essay assignment, and then they paste it with slight edits. They declare because a lot of the universities saying, hey, you need to declare your AI. So they declare AI use in a footnote. Is this ethical? Okay. What I want you to do is let me know your thinking on this, right? Let me know your country, on which university you're coming from, and use the Padlet. So I am going to show you the Padlet. Okay. You guys are very active. I can see 15 people. By the way, I just want to say these Padlet will be kept open, okay, all the time. So you can come back and look at what other people have written, okay, and then share your idea. I think this is a great way for learning from each other. And feel free to use similar way to talk to your student, to teach them about AI ethic these days. I know someone's raised their hand. I can't really take at the moment. Is someone else is, yeah, you can see it. You want to see the QR code? I'm going to dump back the QR code one more time, okay?
You don't have to respond because we are not taking any questions and we don't unmute. It becomes chaotic.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you for taking the QR code. So I can go back here, right? Now, so somebody say yes, okay? It is totally, it's not ethical. Oh, it's yes, it's ethical. Yes, but might not be acceptable. Okay, look, okay. Now, I think it is ethical, but it is acceptable. Is it acceptable depend on the university policy? Okay, so you guys think it's ethical. That is actually interesting, because I was actually in a different country last few days ago. I was in Brunei, and some of the professors there think it's not ethical, it's wrong, right? Using ChatGPT to write their essay and then paste it with small edit, just as long as they declare. Okay, so it is ethical depending. Yes, if the author endorsed the use of ChatGPT, I think now I have one is not ethical, right? Feel free to write why you don't think it's ethical as well. I definitely think giving the reference and mentioning AI is important, so it is ethical. Wow, you guys are very forward thinking. Unethical, okay? Yes, totally ethical. I don't think it is ethical. Speaking citation for sources are supposed to be input. Maybe here's another thinking while we are looking at other people's idea and perception, right? If you think about this, how would I say it, right? So here's a student use ChatGPT to write their essay assignment and paste it slight edit, they declare. So think about if it's not ChatGPT, if it's someone else world, right? Say if you are using Shakespeare, so or somebody's novel. A student use somebody's novel to write their essay, paste it with slight edit. Then they declare, they acknowledge that author. Is this ethical? Okay. You need to think about maybe instead of putting AI, put somebody else in. Put it as a teacher or put it as a friend. A student use another friend's work to write their essay with slight edit. They declare your friend, my friend helped me, right? Is this ethical? Okay, so think about this a little bit, okay? I don't have an answer because as many of you mentioned, right? Policy is important. The policy is extremely important. Thank you so much. You guys have absolutely fantastic. This will left open, okay? So you can use it anytime. Now, I have an even more difficult question for you. This one, okay? A teacher uses AI to auto-grade essay assignment. They don't inform students. Is that transparent? Is it ethical? Are students and teachers bound by the same ethics? Okay, again, please tell me your country, university, where you're from, okay? Now, this is now talking about the teachers, okay? So teachers uses AI in auto-grade essay assignment. They're not telling the student, is this ethical? Okay, and is it transparent? So again, this QR code here, I change over in a second. Okay, these are some of the things I'm giving you guys these scenario because I really want you to think about it, you know, and I'm putting like, oh, what if it's a friend? What if it's this, right? I want you to think about in your case, what would it be? Okay, because everyone could be different. There's that gray line there, but the gray line is not just a fine line. It is very, very wide. We don't know what the gray line is at the moment. Okay, let's see what you have written. Oh, not ethical. Oh, this is very different, right? So teacher use AI. Don't tell the students, right? It is not ethical. Now, I only have an hour or so with you guys, okay? But I noticed that some of you are from the same university, right? So do talk to your colleague, right? This is just a way of opening the conversation, you know, out loud and let you think about it. And as I mentioned, I'm actually working on a lot of policy for the university, for our education bureau, for other universities in other countries as well. So I'm helping other countries doing these as well, policy. And from learning from other people's policy, I realized that one of the biggest thing, one of the most difficult thing is actually how people change their mindset. And I'm bringing this out for you to actually discuss with your colleagues and your friend and your students as well. Let's go down and have a look. Okay, so not a good idea, maybe not ethical to auto-grade using AI, okay? Is it not ethical to grade AI or not ethical because we're not telling the students, okay? Now, there's two things I'm asking here, okay? We don't inform the students. Is that ethical? Okay, are we bound by the same rules? Think about it. Are we bound by the same rules? Okay, let me tell you some other colleague and college or university or country said they think it is okay. Do you know why? The teacher is not being assessed here. Why do we have to have the same rules, bound by the same ethics as the students? Okay, but then there are also colleagues saying, hey, look, you know, students as partners, we are promoting students as partner. We should have the same rules. Okay, so a lot of you are saying unethical. Okay, definitely not. It's not ethical because not transparent. Okay, not ethical as both parties must follow the same policy. But you heard what I said. Okay, a lot of people think, hey, it is okay. It is ethical is the era of technology. We can't resist the change. We have to adopt integration in our pedagogical method. A teacher should be transparent. They're not bound by the same ethic. See, they're not bound by the same ethic. It is true. We are not being tested. Teachers are not being tested. Okay, so these are some of the things we need to think about. Now, feel free to keep going, and I'm gonna keep going if you don't mind. Okay, let me see. Okay, so now this one is the AI-giarism paper. Okay, I have I have a diagram like this in that particular paper. You will see that on one side, I have plagiarism, so it's either plagiarized or original work. But for AI-giarism, this is for writing. It could be going from black all the way to white and a lot of gray line in between. Because sometimes some students might use their own idea, for example, this one and the third one here. They use their own idea to generate a prompt with input from AI. Then they edit it a bit and verify the facts, okay? Then use the best part and submit this work. And they acknowledge the AI too. Maybe that's okay, okay? But then some university might say, no, it's not okay. I want my student to think of brainstorming all the ideas by themselves because creativity is extremely important, okay? Creativity is extremely important in this world, in this era, okay? Now, I want you to think about this, right? Okay. The morality gap, this line, this great line we're talking about, okay? Now, in real life, we know what the moral line is, okay? The academic misconduct, the misconduct in general, okay? So we know we shouldn't steal, right? We know stealing is wrong, okay? And most of us would know that walking around naked is wrong, okay? Most of us, maybe not all of us, but most of us do, okay? But for AI in education, these lines are still forming, isn't it? We're not 100% sure yet. Where are we at this particular line? Okay, so there's no shared culture. For example, there are also the cultural aspect of each country as well. Okay, and what something that in China, right, would do may not be done well in, say, a Western country. And what we do in Hong Kong may not do well in, say, Korea or maybe in Pakistan, right? So we don't know what is right or what's wrong, especially when it comes to AI in education, okay? And the gray line might look different for everyone. For example, right? It's very simple here. You guys already said it in the Padlet, okay? Some would think, yes, it is okay. Some would think, no, it is not okay. It is wrong to do that. Okay, so it is something that we really need to think about how and what should we do. Okay, that line is different. Now, let me tell you, right, one thing. Okay. No, actually, before I do that, I want to do this one, okay, because I really want to kind of cover as much as I can possibly within that hour. Now, obviously, one thing we worry about a lot is about assessment because we are so used using text for assessing. Now, I know that different disciplines might use different approach for assessment, but what about this? Okay, what about if we need to build some kind of AI resilient assessment? We know that one thing, we know assessment drives learning, drives the way our students think and our students learn. So what I want you to do is, with AI tools now, everybody's using them, okay? All students, and you can't stop them. You want them to use it. But you need to think about ways so that students don't misuse AI while claiming that they did it on their own, right? So I want to spend a few minutes on this, right? Trying to ensure that your design of your assessment for your student, for your course, right, that it can be somehow AI resilient. Now, please don't tell me it's going to be an exam in an invigilated exam in an exam hall. That's not what I want. Or just an oral presentation. No, that's not what I want. I know those ones. I want you to think about it. Say if you're an architect, if you're in medicine, if you are in education, what would you do? Especially if you're in humanity and art, what kind of assessment would you design? Okay. Again, I want you to write your detailed response and explain why you designed that, right? So tell me what kind of design you would use, okay? Again, using this particular QR code, okay? So think about it. We don't have a lot of time. I can spend only 1 or 2 minutes on this, right? Think about the design. If you had to design a new assessment for your course, for your class, okay? What would it be? What are the things that is really important for you? So your student is actually learning. Okay, so if you have this QR code, then I can run to. Thank you, Goha. Goha put the QR code in here into the chats, okay? So I can turn that into this. Okay, this is very important. This is the start of how we rethink of academic misconduct, okay? How do we design our assessment? Without that, it's not going to work. Thoughtful pigeon. I doubt there's anything AI cannot do. Of course, there are a lot of things they cannot do. Open book assessment. Okay, very good. Event design concept, absolutely. You see what I'm doing now? There are some colleagues may feel very difficult, find it really difficult. But there are a lot of colleagues among you guys, you know, I'm only asking the question. You guys are coming up with the good ideas. Okay, I conduct the Viva to check their understanding. I put empathy-based question in the assignment and personalized experience question. Thank you, Asa. And Nahida, design social software which identified AI work. Now that is difficult because there are a lot of clever people. In fact, OpenAI tried to do that, okay? But then it didn't work out. They're trying to design software, maybe putting a watermark into the AI generated text. It didn't work. They put a plug on that particular project after spending a few hundreds of millions. In mathematics, we can take help in presenting mathematics. So AI will be helpful in this manner. So ACR is talking about the process. The process of mathematics is extremely important. And we know that we don't want just the result. How you go through it is important. Abba Ramat saying open book assessment in person text, no gadgets in exam, giving prompt in the class. And make the exam, sorry, if I don't say everything out, you know you are there. And I'm really thankful you guys are putting all these in for everyone, because this is what we need to share. Make the exam very diverse and critical so student doesn't get the answer from a single prompt, okay? Okay, so you critically have to do critically. And we can tell them to use it, but only within a certain percent, and then reward it for other things. Okay, I will assess my student by asking them to conduct a project to solve relevant problem. You see, you're all very clever. You're all extremely smart. Assign creative tasks, which might use AI. Okay, creativity, individualistic, interview question, how they collect information from different sources. Okay, all these absolutely fantastic. Feel free to keep coming in because you guys will see this and share. When you are looking for an idea, come back to this page and you will find your good idea. What we might do is later on transfer this page into another thing, so it's in the website. Okay, now this is absolutely fantastic. You will see it, you know, all you guys keep writing while I'm mumbling here on myself. Okay. Now, what you have told me, right? Unfortunately, I can't show two websites, two screens at the same time. Everything you have told me is within this framework, okay? Now, this framework is in my book, okay? There are 9 components, you could say 9 types of assessment in this AI assessment integration framework. What is that? That is basically, it's like we can use AI to work together, okay? But based on this framework, it will help us to design AI resilience and assessment. So from performance-based assessment, so basically assessing students' skills and knowledge in the real world, right? Actually doing the thing like labs, like OSCE in medicine, okay? Personalized, you guys already mentioned it. You ask their personalized assessment because nobody can actually, AI doesn't know what they're thinking. They can't use that, right? Human-centric, those problem-solving, empathy. You see, someone mentioned about that. Leadership, teamwork, all those are important. Working together with the machine, with AI, okay? Assess the ability of them working together because that is the future. Project-based, you have told me this already. adaptive assessment with time limits. Every student would have different assessment using obviously some kind of platform, okay? Different level, different challenge, and then there's time limit. They cannot go to the AI to ask for that answer. Metacognitive assessment go deeper, much deeper than the normal surface learning. Oh, sorry, ethical and societal impact. All these because AI is not there yet. They're catching the news, right? And then, of course, you can have lifelong learning portfolio assessment, okay? All these are important. And, you know, obviously, time exam is also in there. The timing is very important as well. Now, so based on this framework and what you've said, all your idea in the Padlet actually work directly from this framework. Okay, it works really well from it. Now, so based on a lot of research and many professors and researchers have done, many of my colleagues have done, right, around the world, we actually created, and also what I've just mentioned to you, our AI integration framework, we actually built something called Super TA. Now, it's not ready yet, and I'm more than happy to share with you when it's ready. Because one of the big things it does is actually an assessment analyzer. Is to help you to redesign your assessment or rethink about how to design your assessment. Let me just show you. I'm just trying to skip a little bit.
Spending too much time on paperwork and lesson planning? Overwhelmed by designing quizzes, exam papers, and evaluation questions? No idea how to assess students
Oh, sorry.
in the GenAI age? Worry no more. Meet Super TA, the best GenAI teaching assistant for teachers. Super TA takes the weight of administrative tasks off your shoulders, allowing you to focus on your students and their success. Developed by pedagogical experts, Super TA is your trusted partner in assessment design. By integrating recommendations from Professor Cecilia Chan's AI, Super TA helps you enhance and redesign assessments with ease. From tailored rubrics to AI-optimized strategies, Super TA provides the tools and guidance you need to create effective, AI-resilient assessments. Through this, you will gain the skills to design it.
So basically, what it actually helps is really help us to rethink how we can redesign the assessment. Okay, so what you do is you put in your learning outcome, your learning purposes, and maybe your course, right? What it tells, say history 101, right? Then you say, oh, I want to design a 1,500 words essay, right? And to basically assess their problem solving knowledge. Okay, and then they will basically give you the witness, the strength of your assessment and tell you if it's AI resilient and how to improve it if it's not, okay? But it's actually helping teachers to really think about. Now, assessment, we always have assessment literacy problem, okay, for teachers. A lot of time we just keep going using the same way. This is just, having AI is just helping us to rethink of how we can do. And this is the book, right? There's a lot of chapters, especially chapter 4 and chapter 3. It really helps you to think about how to use curriculum design. There is another in the redesign chapter 4 there's a way of actually using essay, right? You might think essay is no longer able to use, but there is a reverse engineering of essay in that chapter that will help you if those of you who want to use essay. Let's got this right. We need to. Sorry. This is really important, okay? When you want to design integrity, right, and insight into your assessment. So if your assessment is easy for AI to complete, then you will need to redesign it. If students aren't thinking or students are not learning, reflect on what we are teaching. Create challenges, okay, that require judgment, voice, and process. So if we want our students to be future ready, we must first understand our students, okay? We need to understand them. How do they engage with AI, where they struggle? Because they are what, Gen Z, Gen Alpha? Our teacher, we need to understand our teacher. How can we help our teacher to equip with AI literacy and professional development? Our institution, how do we redesign curricula? What kind of assessment, that we can use AI responsibly? As a society, how to ensure AI serve ethical, sustainable, and inclusive goals, right? At the University of Hong Kong, we have put all these together, right, and help our student and our teacher. So I can show you a trailer, okay? This is the trailer course of what we have done. AI is everywhere. In this course, we will explore how to harness GenAI tools, tapping into their potential to enhance learning and teaching experience. Ever wonder how to communicate with AI? We will look into the art of prompt engineering, guiding you through the intricacy of AI interaction. But what about the human touch? We'll take a critical look at the challenges and concern of AI in assessment. How do we balance technology and humanity? How do we ensure ethical practices? Finally, we will explore AI policy, equipping you with the knowledge to navigate the complexity of AI in education responsibly and ethically. So are you ready to take the leap into the future of learning? Welcome to the world of AI literacy. So, and on top of that, apart from the AI literacy course, right, we built one for students and we built one for teachers, right? We have also assessment website, basically with like leaflets. You can download these leaflets from the website as well. And we have a guideline on how to redesign assessment. That was actually in June 2023. I run an AI in education lab to develop new AI apps and also looking at research, education research as well for teacher, both in university level and also in school level. I work closely with the education department bureau in Hong Kong. You can see some of the things we are doing, and we have different AI demo. In fact, we are producing a few apps that will be useful, and I'm hoping to able to share with you guys as well. Now, this is my lab logo, right? You can see that there's an AI logo here, right? But at the same time, we have human, because it is extremely important that human is in the loop, okay? And before, one of the first slide I mentioned that I have been in education for the last 18 years, right? And previous to AI in education, I work on a lot of things like 21st century skill, especially the development and assessment of it. And I do want to mention how important that in this AI era that we human take the lead, okay? We can partner with AI, but we need to still keep those future readiness competence, okay? So this is a foundation that I found with many universities, and I absolutely welcome all of you to join us, okay? So basically, this international accreditation for future readiness competence, right, with the QR code there, we call it IHCF, have university international partner and also companies, right, industry partner everywhere around the world, okay? You can see UCL, Oxford, Queen Mary, Tsinghua, etc., etc. Okay, basically, we accredit courses which have these competence, okay, from AI literacy to communication, creativity, and teamwork, and so forth. Because we know this is what employer want in the world. This is how we human going to really understand ourselves, okay, and work together with AI. Okay, we don't want to have bias. We don't want to be over reliant on AI. We don't want homogenization. We want us to take the lead. Okay, and that's what we want to teach our students. This is my last video and almost finished. Thank you very much. There are a lot more research, right? In fact, I have, you can scan these, that goes to either my LinkedIn and my webpage. I'm here today, right? To talk about GenAI in this era, right? As you can see, you actually know a lot about AI already, okay? And how to redesign assessment and what is misconduct, what's not. It is a conversation, okay, that we need to have, not by one person, not by one institution, but around the world, okay? I think I've been actually to about 4 to 5 countries in the last 3 weeks, actually. Discussing about with different university, different country about AI. And I can tell you one thing, right, that we need to do. We need to work together. That is basically the main thing. We really need to work together to find a solution, to find some guidelines together to work together as a whole. Every discipline is different. As I already mentioned, the gray line for everyone is different. We don't know what the gray line is yet. So it is something we need to think about and do. So I am going to stop here, and I thank you for your attention because I kind of run over the time a little bit. So thank you very much, guys.
Yes. Thank you, Cecilia. I was looking at the chat actually, and I was trying to respond to as many queries that seems to be very obvious, have obvious answers. One thing that kept coming up is it ethical or not ethical? And I think you did say that ethics, there are stages where this is a no-no. There are stages where there is clearly it is okay, and there are lots of gray areas which we need to discuss, and the policy in the classroom and the campus policy needs to look at those concerns. But there is one question that I will have, and then I'll request Gohar to put up some questions that demand your attention. Even if we use AI, I know there are ways of identifying how the structure of an AI draft can be immediately, sort of registered. But having said that, even if you humanize the draft, there are apps, actually AI apps, that if you say humanize this draft, it does do it, and you put in your characteristics of your writing, it will still do that. My question that I think would be relevant is there a tool that can really find out what is AI generated and what is not? According to my understanding, that there is not such a 100% tool, but maybe I'm wrong. So if you could say, is there a way of finding out if this was, how much of a text or something was AI generated?
You can't. You literally can't at the moment. Yeah. And even say if I use AI now, right? I use ChatGPT and generated. Yeah. How much of that is actually AI generated, or how much is that is copied from some original text? Right. We don't know. Okay, because it is actually by encoding, decoding, and it actually guessing, right? So it could be, and it may not be, right? And even if you say, yeah, I think I've seen that paragraph somehow, or that sentences before in some, say, some books, right? It could be because it trained so much on those kind of things, it actually come up, So for example, we might say, I am a man. They can, we've all seen that sentences before, right? But it's a plagiarized no, so we can't do that.
Yeah, and the other question, that the bottom line is, it's your own value system that becomes the judge. How do you yourself draw a line between what is ethical and not ethical? And I think that's for something that we should cultivate in our educational institutions. Gohar, please, the questions.
Dr. Roxana, I will state the questions.
Please, Fatima, this is our education developer. Happy to see you, Fatima. Ji.
Cecilia, our first question is from Mizan Adimir, and he is asking if we should begin redefining concepts like creativity, originality, and plagiarism in this AI era, or is it premature given the limited data and philosophical discourse in academia and industry?
I think number one, right? First of all, I've been always saying this is not because of AI. I think in the future, right, or even now, the word assessment could be very different from the way we think of, okay? Yeah. Our traditional way of thinking assessment, the word assessment, is like exam, essay writing, somebody sit there and do it by themselves. But in in the future, what is going to be assessment? What are we assessing it on? And maybe also, why are we assessing on? Okay, that's number one. Okay, if it's all because of summative, it's a summative thing. We want to ensure that they have evidence of learning, right? That and then so we can give them a grade. So we need to think about so the purpose of assessment is number one. Okay, you asked me plagiarism. Should we need to redefine that? I already mentioned it, right? Yes, I think we do, because what does that mean by plagiarism? Can we all use Turnitin? Yes, we might say if the student copy directly against some book, it's wrong, right? But with the whole GenAI thing, what does it really mean? So we need to define that. And that's why I said we need to work together, as a world, to really think about it. And it's based on researcher, right? Turnitin didn't just happen. It's not some IT developer just sat down and go, oh, this is what we really do. They all have to work with researcher and really think about what does that mean? What is the percentage, right?
Yeah.
Our next question is from Dr. Amir Shuktai, and he is asking if it is considered academic misconduct to use tools like Grammarly to refine or fine-tune a research paper.
So I missed the last bit there, something about paper.
If it is unethical or if it is considered academic misconduct to use tools like Grammarly to fine-tune and refine a research paper.
Using Grammarly to refine grammar is not unethical anymore, really. No, I mean, I've just done a research, right, on journal paper around the world. And basically, most journal, well, not most, about, 40% of journal doesn't tell you anything about AI. Then another 40% will basically say, yes, you can use it for proofreading and writing. Just mention, some of them don't say you don't even have to mention it, right? It's expected, okay? And of course, Grammarly did not just happen since 23 or November 22. Grammarly have been around for a long time. A lot of students, a lot of teachers have been using a long time and have always using AI. It's just they didn't promote it as AI at the time until OpenAI promoted it as AI. So no, that is not unethical.
Thank you, Celia. Our next question is actually from a participant who is joining us from Nigeria. And the question is AI diminishing the quality of education by enabling students to simply edit AI-generated content to bypass plagiarism checks?
Yeah. To be honest, that question is yes and is no, okay? If we can teach our students the right way, the ethical way, the responsible way, as Sala said, right? Then we are doing the good thing, okay? To be honest, even accumulate with all the brainy people here in this room, right? In this Zoom room, okay? With 1,000 people here. And we may not able to get the solution for cancer, for example, okay? Because our brain just cannot upload so much thing. So we need machine to help, okay? But if we just rely on machine and answer the same thing, and here's what I really want to say to you is that, imagine you use AI to design the assessment, which we probably will do in the future or now even, and then students use AI to answer your assessment. And then you use AI to grade your assessment. Look at that. What human? What are there? So it's just using the training data again and again. Okay. So what if we teach our students to use AI in a clever way, in a responsible way, in a way that we can learn, right? Then we can go faster on solving all these problems in the world. So that's yes and no. So it is up to us how to teach them to learn. Now, I myself use AI a lot. Okay. And can't do without it at the moment these days, okay? And but how do I use it? I use it together like a partner, like I could almost say, because it's so good these days, right? And it's like my kind of partner that I can go, hey, I'm looking for, I can't remember that particular model on certain thing, right? That philosophical model. And can you give me a few? And of course, how could I have read every single book in the world? I haven't, I couldn't have, but it has. Right? Then it might go, hey, Sia, you're talking about this, this, and this. And then during this, and that, yes, I find my solution, but at the same time, I learn other solutions as well. And that's a good way to learn. And that's how we should teach our students.
Thank you, Celia. Our next question is from Faiza Rubab, and she is asking, what about a generative AI version of literature, analytical interpretations, or even whole research articles, which is a common practice used by many professors and students? What are the implications?
What are the implications of using AI for literature, is it?
Yeah, AI version of literature or even analytical interpretations.
Well, kind of the same question, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like in a way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's the same that was asked before.
Okay. Our next question is from Farhana Yasmin, and she is asking, given the advancements in robotics, how can professionals continue to evolve their unique capabilities to stay competitive in the changing landscape?
Because how dynamic, how fast that robotic is actually doing, how can professional, say it again, how can professional become competitive?
Sorry, just give me a minute. Given the advancements in robotics, how can professionals continue to evolve their unique capabilities to stay competitive in the changing landscape?
Well, robotic in some way is being built by humans, aren't they? Right? So, right? So we have to build better software, better robotic in order for us to be replaced. So I would expect that professionals are always needed. I think maybe one of the questions that relate to this is like, you guys are all here. You're interested in AI. You're not withholding and saying, no, 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 right? I think this is the important part. You're not saying no. So, but what about some of your colleagues? I'm quite sure there's only 1,000 people here. There's a few countries, right? And there are some people, some teachers saying, no, no, no. Those are the ones that we are worried about, because if they're not adapting AI, they don't need to know everything about AI, but they need to know the basic, right? Because if they are not learning what is happening in AI, the students are also either not learning or learning the wrong way, okay? And those are the people who is going to left behind. We know lifelong, everybody has been talking about lifelong learning many years ago, okay? What does that really mean? It means that even when we are old, we keep learning. And why do we have to keep learning? Because the society changed dynamically. It just AI make it even faster. Okay, so basically spread around the world, let your colleague know that, right? If you don't learn AI, it's not robotic taking your job, it's you taking, you are basically being redundant by yourself.
Yeah. Excellent. I have seen that happen in many groups, in many countries, actually. In Europe, I've seen a very strong resistance to AI use, and they say, oh, let's not be cautious. And I think that's where they're losing time, because very soon it will be obsolete, saying no to it.
Okay, Cecilia, our next question is from Anam Said, and she is asking, how can universities ensure fair access to AI tools for students from diverse socioeconomic backgrounds, especially given the digital divide?
Okay. Can I ask a question? In Pakistan, do you guys get access to a particular free AI model?
Cecilia, we have free AI tools available, but we have noticed that we do not have access to the paid tools. And they, in the sense, because money is always an issue. And I think at the end of the day, paid tools do a better job if you have to use AI. So that is where the problem arises. And neither have, I think, in Pakistan, we have decided about having our own university-wide AI tool that can house our privacy and security carefully. So we do deal with those issues, and we haven't found a solution. And I think we need to come together as a nation, at least in Pakistan, to work through them.
Yeah. At our university, right, at the University of Hong Kong, we actually, because now we can access to ChatGPT because of the ban to it, right? And so we use Microsoft Open Azure to access to ChatGPT. We pay them.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to pay. And so the university have a version, right? So ChatGPT 4.0, I think it's the next one as well. And we also have DeepSeek. Okay, so both are through university pay for it, but each students only have certain amounts of credit. Okay, so it build their own interface. We build our own interface, right? To use that. However, despite that, students are very clever. okay, they use other model themselves. They get a phone number, and go through VPN and use ChatGPT. They use a better version of DeepSeek. Now, I think, unfortunately, equality, and fairness is always going to be a problem. Okay, they're always going to be. What we hope is that at least somebody who cannot afford it will have something to use. And I do think, and I know this for sure, because I work closely with many industry, right? And they are more than willing to basically work with university. You can come back and talk to me. I know some big big industry like Alibaba or something. They will happy to give you something, maybe, half the price or even less, or free for a year, and then, get the students hook up and stuff like that as well. So there are way of doing it, definitely. And would it be totally free? May not be, but it could definitely be able to have some kind of equality and fairness in that way as well.
Cecilia, our last question is from Walid Khan. And the question is, could over-reliance on AI lead to flawed theories and opinions shaped by a homogenized, culturally limited perspective?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very good question, actually. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, no, that is happening. As I mentioned, homogenization. Okay, that is still happening. We're missing voices. I mean, how sure are we? Let's be honest. How sure are we that OpenAI, ChatGPT have included people from Pakistan?
Yeah.
How sure are we that it include people from Hong Kong? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's why many countries are building their own large language model up to a point.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I think that will always be a concern with homogenization. Voices like, that happened with in heritage, cultural heritage. Intangible heritage got lost in the concrete forms that sort of paintings and architecture stayed, but languages and storytelling and things that went with intangible heritage got lost. So I think we have to make our own voices from countries like ours. We have to be a part of this AI innovation so that our voices are not lost. So, Cecilia, I wonder if I could say it, but you are one of the most exciting experts that I have come across. You have done a range of things. You made us think. You did some activities, and you covered it in record time. Such a difficult topic, but the bottom line remains that it's a discussion on plagiarism that will keep on changing. Its dimensions, the gray areas will keep on changing, and we'll have to keep on interacting with it. Thank you so much, Cecilia.
Thank you. Thank you for
Look forward to seeing more of you and keep in touch to learn from you. Thank you so much.
I have a link in there in my last PowerPoint, feel free to link it in. So we always share a lot of our research through LinkedIn. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cecilia. Bye-bye.